everyone. My name is Michael Gary. We're here with Dan Blair and David Bernhardt today to talk about some massive news from a community perspective, and more importantly, from a David perspective. And it's a continuation today on the Innovation Alley podcast around crowdfunding. And so, David, for the listeners, the first time you've had a chance to be on the podcast. David is an original founder of AscentWorks.
From back in the day.
Back in the day, got literally, like I said, just joking with Dan here, if it wasn't for David, none of this would exist, because I would have been stupid enough to do it by myself.
We'd all be running around with our heads cut off.
Exactly. So with Carrie and David, literally that's where we got the momentum going, especially around the physical makerspace. AscentWorks and David's background in industrial design, and 3D printing, and is world-renowned as an inventor, be it something massive like the 3D printing stuff, the 3D printing car, to the Heft, which we already know about, which was a very successful innovation that you partnered with a couple folks to deal with.
For sure. It's been an exciting event with the Heft, and the best part was it was on a spoof was on the Rick Mercer report.
Yeah,
called The Lugger the other day. So that was pretty neat.
That's how you
made it.
Yeah, you made it in pop culture when Rick Mercer spoofs you. So it was awesome.
So like I said, just for context, like it's a big deal to have you here. So thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
And now I know it's Thursday today. You're in town for a reason, and maybe you could tell the listeners what that's all about.
So we've been working on a few new products since the Heft, and then we ended up trying to pitch again on Dragon's Den to see what would happen.
Okay.
We've done the Heft was originally a Dragon's Den product, and then it went into the mass market, working with David Chilton, the wealthy barber, and it just blew up, and now it's in I think probably about 50 countries all over the world.
So in that project, you were brought in really to do the manufacturing design, right?
I was brought in as the designer, just to do some design work and see how things went, and it ended up blowing up from there. Just
you made it profitable.
Exactly. Yeah, went from a hand carved prototype into an actual 3D printed prototype, and it was actually the 3D printed prototype that was sold it was sold to Home Hardware. So they when they saw the 3D printed prototype, they said, "Yep, we're in. Let's take it." And then we said, "Great, you have to manufacture it."
Awesome. So now this is the second attempt at Dragon's Den. What did you guys pitch?
So we pitched. It's called the TwoCane. So it looks like a simple, elegant, colorful walking cane.
TwoCane on there, I get it.
Yeah, a Tocane, and so with about 10,000 people turning 65 a day in North America, we figure the seniors market is huge, and there's a real need for products. And so it's a quick cane, and then you can pop it up, switch it over, and it turns into a nice easy up. So it makes it a lot easier to get out of your chair. So that's a pretty neat feature. Everyone loves it. But the really cool part, and why it's called the TwoCane, is it becomes two canes.
Huh.
And so it makes it easier to walk, to go to a ball game. I was playing around with it on an airplane today. On the way here, I opened it up and I walked onto the airplane with it. And of course, all the flight attendants said, "That's cool. Now we don't have to bring on walkers or wheelchairs or anything like that. We can just supply people with these." And they asked if it comes in WestJet colors.
You told them, of course.
Of course it does. As long as it's black.
That's awesome. So again, it was you guys were on TV last night, and so for the folks who missed it, what was the reception like?
So it was a pretty intense, and it wasn't everything that was shown. Of course, it was an hour and a half pitch, and they show 6 minutes of it. So there's a lot of really harsh moments that we were there, and we actually got some of the dragons just didn't understand the concept. They didn't know why a senior.
What a cane is?
Well, of course, Jim understood what a cane was pretty quick.
Sorry, Jim.
Sorry, Jim. But he was awesome, and some of the other people just said, "I don't understand why people want two canes."
Oh.
And then for those who didn't see, I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but there is one dragon, Manjeet, who really connected with it. She said, my grandfather really. He struggles with canes, and he struggles with bad design, poor design, and weak canes. And so he is looking for something a little bit stronger, something a little bit classier. And so we're working with her to bring this to market, so one of her family members can have something that they're proud of.
So she really got it. That the money's there. Basically, there's a potential partner to take this thing to the next level now.
Exactly. So yeah, she hopped on board, and I mean the episode is filmed quite a while ago, so we've been working with them ever since, and the big thing is it needs to be a classy-looking, strong cane. It needs to be durable. So it's no, we're not going to cheap out on anything and go that route. We're going to make this a nice, classy cane for everyone.
It's because it takes pretty much everything that people look for in different canes and builds it into one nice, compact design. And it's really awesome that you've also found someone to work with that not only gets the product, but connects with you on an emotional level about it. So.
For sure, and that was the exciting part. I mean, it was up and down. It was I've never seen a roller coaster like that in a pitch.
So I know you're a veteran on Dragon's Den. So this time, new cast, new crew. How was the experience different this time from before?
So we've all been watching Dragon's Den now for, 8 or 9 years, and so you feel a relationship with them, even though they don't know who you are. You feel like
cut me any checks.
Exactly. You feel that you know them and you have a connection to them. So when we walked on stage, and I was pitching with my business partner and friend Marco, it was kind of the lights came on, and it was everyone was new. It was just the weirdest sensation. And we didn't know anything about them besides what we did our research on, but we didn't know anything as pertaining to Dragon's Den with the new dragons. And so it was completely starting from scratch. And, I'm sure I'm going to get some feedback on this, but we were more prepared than they were. We were shooting the first week that they were all together. So they didn't really know each other.
Learning about each other.
Exactly. So it was a little bit, it was awkward with everyone. It went over great, but it was just...
well, I guess that's good and bad. They're unfortunately picking on you instead of each other.
Well, that's exactly it. The only conversation, because if you watch the older ones, the dragons are they're more
nipping at each other.
Exactly, where they didn't. It was more them coming at us, and so we had to do a lot of defense. But I mean, we're veteran pitchers, so we had our answers. And the hardest thing was we went on there without any sales, and everyone knows that you don't go on Dragon's Den without sales.
And yet you made it.
And yet we made it.
All right, so maybe we're going to take a break now, but in the next module, let's get into that. Let's talk about the product, the pitch, what made this successful. So stay tuned. We'll be back in the next module with our guest, David Bernhardt, and Dan Blair and myself, Mike McGarry, talking about the big news. A Winnipeg-based inventor, founder of AscentWorks, who's made it big again with another Dragon's Den win.
Big deal on Dragon's Den.
See you soon.